For a celebrity who almost never wastes words, İlsu Demirci may have just delivered her strongest response yet, without saying anything at all. No interview, no emotional post, no late-night clarification, no attempt to fight rumor with more rumor. Instead, she stepped out, cameras caught the detail, and suddenly the entire conversation shifted. The ring was back, and in the world of celebrity speculation, especially in Turkish entertainment, where every appearance gets dissected in seconds, that kind of gesture is never treated as random. It lands as a message. A quiet one, yes, but a message all the same, because this did not happen in a vacuum. It happened right after days of growing whispers about a supposed new romance, a supposed new chapter, a supposed emotional shift that media outlets were more than happy to build into a headline even without offering much proof behind it. That is exactly why this moment hit so hard. The public had already been pulled into a wave of assumptions. There were claims about private conversations, hints about closeness with someone from her extended professional orbit, and the usual celebrity machinery doing what it does best, turning suggestion into certainty long before facts catch up. No confirmed relationship, no undeniable photos, no real statement from İlsu, just insinuation wrapped in dramatic language. And because she stayed silent, the rumor cycle kept breathing. Then she appeared, calm as ever, composed as ever, and the ring was clearly visible. To some people, that might seem like a small detail, but anyone who follows celebrity image, especially the way public figures communicate when they refuse to play the media game directly, knows better. Accessories are not always just accessories. Timing matters, repetition matters, visibility matters. And when someone as careful and self-contained as İlsu Demirci chooses to wear a particular ring again at exactly the moment speculation is spiraling, it stops looking accidental and starts looking intentional. That is why the reaction online was immediate. Within minutes, people were circulating photos, comparing appearances, zooming in on her hand, and asking the same question in different ways. Was this her answer? Was this her way of shutting the door without opening her mouth? Was she reminding the public that her personal life does not belong to gossip pages just because they decide it does? For a lot of her supporters, the answer was obvious. They saw it as a silent boundary, a clean, elegant, almost surgical correction to a narrative that had gotten too comfortable speaking for her. And honestly, that interpretation fits the image İlsu has built over time. She has never been the kind of actress who turns private emotions into public spectacle. She does not seem interested in feeding scandal, monetizing heartbreak, or giving the entertainment press endless material just because they want it. Her approach has consistently been more restrained, more private, and, in a strange way, more powerful because of that restraint. What makes this even more interesting is that the ring did not just appear once in some blurry photo, where people could argue over what they were seeing. It was reportedly visible in more than one setting, including a high-profile public event, and then again in a more casual moment. That repeat visibility made the whole thing feel deliberate. If it had shown up once, people could have dismissed it as coincidence. But when the same symbol returns as the rumors intensify, coincidence becomes much harder to believe. And that is where İlsu's handling of the situation starts to look extremely smart. Because in celebrity culture, direct denials can be messy. The second a public figure responds verbally, the conversation often gets worse, not better. Every sentence gets overanalyzed. Every phrase gets broken into headlines. A simple denial could become 3 days of fresh content for the same outlets that started the rumor in the first place. Silence, on the other hand, can frustrate the cycle, and silence paired with a strong visual cue can be even more effective. It says enough to shift the narrative, but not enough to surrender control. That is exactly what seems to have happened here. Instead of giving the gossip machine fresh material, İlsu gave the public something else, a symbol, a gesture, a reminder that she still chooses the terms of her own visibility. There is also a deeper emotional reading to all of this that many fans seem to have connected with immediately. For some, the ring is not just about shutting down romance rumors. It represents personal grounding, stability, a connection to something internal rather than performative. In that reading, the ring is less about another person and more about self-protection, self-definition, and emotional continuity during a period when outside voices have tried to define her too aggressively. That interpretation makes sense, especially because so many comments online focused on her composure rather than just the rumor itself. People were not only reacting to the ring, they were reacting to how she wore it. Calmly, naturally, without tension, without visible discomfort, without the look of someone cornered by headlines. That body language matters. It reinforces the idea that she was not reacting impulsively. She was asserting something. Quietly, yes, but confidently. And that confidence may be the real reason this has resonated so strongly, especially with women in the audience. A lot of viewers seem to see in İlsu something bigger than celebrity reacting to gossip. They see a woman refusing the pressure to explain herself, refusing the demand to issue statements every time the public feels entitled to one, refusing the assumption that if a rumor is loud enough, it deserves a direct answer. That is a message many people found deeply relatable. In fact, one of the most striking things about the public reaction is how much of it framed her silence as strength, not confusion, not avoidance, strength. That says a lot about the kind of image she has built. Some public figures stay silent, and the silence gets read as weakness, uncertainty, or guilt. But when İlsu stays silent, many people read it as clarity. That is not accidental. That comes from consistency over time. It comes from years of carrying herself in a way that makes people believe she does not move out of panic. And that consistency matters even more when her private life becomes public fuel. Because once the headline starts suggesting a new romance, the pressure usually moves fast. Suddenly everybody wants a clue. Every appearance becomes evidence. Every expression becomes a headline. In that kind of environment, it is very easy for a public figure to either overreact or disappear completely. İlsu seems to have chosen a third option. Stay visible, stay composed, and let the visual message do the work. There is also something telling about the fact that she did not appear to use the moment as a performance. This did not look like a provocation. It did not look like a publicity trick. It did not look like someone trying to make the press talk more. Quite the opposite. The whole effect came from how natural it seemed. That is what gave it weight. It looked less like a campaign and more like a quiet reclaiming of space. People close to her, at least according to the narrative surrounding this moment, suggest she was uncomfortable with how quickly a fictional romance was being built around her. And if that is true, it explains a lot. Because the most exhausting thing about celebrity rumor culture is not always the rumor itself. It is the speed with which strangers start acting as if they're entitled to a conclusion. Once a narrative starts moving, people stop asking whether it's real and start debating what it means. That can feel invasive, especially for someone who has made privacy a clear personal value. So the ring becomes meaningful not only because of what it might symbolize outwardly, but because of what it protects inwardly. It creates distance. It says, you do not get the full explanation. You do not get direct access just because you created noise around me. You get this, and this is enough. That may be why so many image experts and media observers tend to agree that symbolic gestures often work better than verbal rebuttals. Public statements can invite argument. Symbols invite interpretation, but they also close doors. They make the person at the center of the story look intentional rather than defensive. In İlsu's case, that seems especially true because her image is always dependent on elegance, reserve, and emotional intelligence. A loud response would have felt off-brand. This did not. And when you look at the broader moment she seems to be in, the ring takes on even more meaning. There's a growing sense that İlsu is moving through a phase of personal recalibration, one where emotional well-being matters more than public performance. The choices around her professional life reportedly reflect that too. She appears to be prioritizing balance, careful exposure, and projects that do not overwhelm her private space. If that reading is accurate, then the ring is not about clinging to the past. It is about marking a center point in the present. That distinction is important. Too often, public commentary reduces symbols like this to romance only. But not every ring means longing. Not every visible accessory is about attachment to another person. Sometimes a symbol becomes meaningful because it represents what someone has survived, what they've learned, or what they refuse to let the world rewrite for them. In that sense, The ring can function as a private anchor while still operating publicly as a boundary. And maybe that is why the photos landed with such force. They arrived at exactly the right moment, after enough speculation to create tension, but before the narrative became fully uncontrollable. That is where good instinct matters. İlsu did not need a dramatic reveal. She just needed a clear enough image to redirect the conversation. She gave people one visual, and suddenly the gossip cycle no longer looked as confident as it did a few days earlier. Even people who were ready to believe the romance rumors started pulling back. That happens when a silent gesture feels more convincing than 100 tabloid phrases. It changes the emotional temperature of the conversation. The rumor starts looking less like insight and more like projection. And the person being watched starts looking more in control than the people doing the watching. That is one of the reasons İlsu Demirci continues to hold attention in such an unusual way. She does not dominate headlines through chaos. She dominates them through contrast. In an industry full of overexposure, she remains measured. In an environment that rewards emotional excess, she remains controlled. And when speculation gets too loud, she does not add to the noise. She alters the frame. That is not easy to do. It requires patience, timing, and confidence in how the public reads you. If your image is inconsistent, silence can work against you. If your image is steady, silence can become one of your strongest tools. İlsu seems to understand that instinctively. So, what did the ring mean? The honest answer is that only she knows its full meaning. And maybe that is exactly the point. The world does not get total access. The press does not get a full breakdown just because they ask. The public gets what she chooses to show, no more and no less. What they saw this time was enough to shift the narrative, enough to cool the frenzy, and enough to remind people that not every woman is obligated to explain her emotional life on demand. In the end, this moment was not loud, but it was powerful. It was not dramatic, but it was effective. And it may be one of the clearest examples yet of how İlsu Demirci manages public pressure, the level of grace that many in the industry still struggle to master. She did not argue. She did not plead. She did not correct the rumor line by line. She stepped into the light, wore the ring, and let the image do the talking. And maybe that is why people are still talking about it now. Because in a world where everyone is expected to constantly explain themselves, there is something striking about a woman who simply decides not to. There is something powerful about someone who understands that not every answer needs to be spoken. Sometimes the strongest message is the one delivered with a steady hand, a calm face, and a ring that says exactly enough.